Alrighty, so we now know the final matchup for the inaugural Leeds Cup tournament, and the final matchup be Inter Miami versus Nashville, as both of these team who came into the league in 2020 will be meeting each other to see who's going to win the inaugural Leeds Cup tournament. But both of these teams have also punched their tickets in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Now, I will say this. I know throughout this tournament, there's been a lot of talks about refereeing decision, and I feel like I might have just jinxed it by saying that the referee decision wasn't that bad in a video that I did talk about things I've learned in this Leeds Cup because yeah, there's been some very questionable decision throughout this tournament, especially against Liga MX's team, and this is where a lot of Liga MX fans and also teams and even the league itself have released a statement about this, and yeah, I think after this game, it's not going to help the cause because yeah, Rayados did had a call that I think they'll definitely feel like they got robbed in this one because of a wrongful penalty that should have been given to them. But if you're a Nashville fan, you would also say, well, we also had a goal that was called back that probably shouldn't have called back. And this is where you get to the discussion of, well, is it good the fact that, maybe refereeing decision is consistently bad and both teams kind of got robbed of a call and that seems fair, or is it still not fair depending on how you look at it? Either way, if you put the controversy aside when you look at this game, Nashville deserved to win this one. I thought Nashville was the better team in this one. And throughout this tournament, I talked about Rayados, of their resilience in terms of coming back and showing their clinical finishing. Well, that was nowhere to be found in this game against Nashville SC. So early on in the first half, Funes Mori would puts it wide from close range, and that came off a bad turnover from Nashville. Turnover was a huge problem for Nashville in this one, and a part of that has to do with the fact that Rayados did a good job in terms of pressing high. But if you're Nashville and if you're Gary Smith, I mean, you cannot turn the ball over that easily and just play right into the Rayados press. I mean, I'm pretty sure Gary Smith would tell his guys that, yeah, when the press is coming, you got to release that ball quick because if you don't release that ball quick and you take an extra touch, you're going to turn the ball over. And we saw a lot of that from Nashville in this one, especially early in this one. And I also wrote, you just simply cannot do that because that's exactly what Rayados is trying to do. They're trying to force you to make that bad turnover, and then they capitalize on the other end. Gallardo then puts it wide from long range, but then in the 12th minute, Mukhtar thought that he scored the opening goal, and this is where we get to the first controversial call because there was two big controversial call that was a huge talking point out of this one. This one was one of them where he scored a wonderful goal here, only for VAR to say that Mule interfered with the keeper and was in an offside position. Now, throughout the season, I've been talking about this lot, and I even talk about this during the Leeds Cup too. And I feel like this is where I'm starting to think there's a problem with this rule because we have seen before where yes there are some that it was pretty obvious that the player is in an offside position when he's in the line of the shot. Then there are some that it just feel like that is not the case, and I feel like this was one of those situations. And I also want to say that there was a very similar situation to this earlier in this tournament. I forgot who, of course, was playing and who was involved, but there was a situation where they disallowed the goal because it was the player was even though he was standing in an offside position and he was clearly in the line of the shot, which they got it right the first time. But then they go to VAR to see whether that is not the case, and it turns out that VAR decided to overrule that, even though I feel like they should have got it right for the first time, and that here it's almost the same situation, but this time VAR says that no, they got it wrong in terms of yes, indeed a player was interfered with the goalkeeper. Either way, what I'm trying to say is that this rule it is definitely very subjective and that it's almost very similar to the whole offside rule where we've seen before where what is exactly offside side depending on how the situation is, and that this is going to be something that I think they're going to have to work on in terms of fixing it because in this play I do think that it should have counted. Not because it was a wonderful goal, but from Hani Mukhtar. But Alex Miro, yes, he did jump up for this, but this was really after when the ball was already released, and that the goalkeeper he didn't even. It looked like he was affected by the fact that Alex Miro was trying to head that one in, and it wasn't even close for him to basically head that one in. So yeah, again, I feel like Nashville got hard done in terms of this. And then later on, there was a huge shout for a penalty for Nashville that was not given. Yeah, that's not going to please those Nashville fans. And immediately the ref you suck chant rang out because that's kind of a Nashville special. If you see this season, I mentioned if there is one stadium that the ref you suck chant can be heard very loudly, it's definitely at Geodis Park because there is something about Nashville fans, the fact that yeah they get a little bit more fricko when calls doesn't go against them, and that yeah they will have no problem in terms of ringing out that chant and remind the ref that he totally sucked. But in the 20th minute, Pinnacle would deny Canales from close range, and then Mule should have scored here. I mean, he missed an absolute sitter from close range. Fortunately, his team eventually win this one, but I mean, will that chance come back to haunt Nashville? Because we've seen this before where, coming into this game, I knew Nashville was going to be the underdog, even though I know they're playing at home in this one. But when you face a team like Monterrey that has been just unstoppable this season and have found numerous ways to win games, I just feel like Nashville was going to be probably up against it. And if you're going to have chances in this one, which that was a big chance, you have to put it away. I mean, you don't want to end up to be like what the Philadelphia Union was earlier today when they were given chances to score against Inter Miami and they don't take them and it come back to haunt them in a big way. Then Aguirre would struck the post from a tight angle. Again, just a quick reminder that yeah, if you don't take your opportunity, the clinical Monterrey team will have no problem in terms of taking their chances and go up 1-0 in this one. And again, I wrote turnover has been a huge problem for Nashville in this first half because again, that came off of a bad turnover. Nashville just played right into the Monterrey press there. Pico then hits one right to Andrada before in the 39th minute. Andrada had to deny Mukhtar from the header. It was a good header there from Hani Mukhtar too, but the Monterrey goalkeeper does a good job denying him there. So we go to halftime, scoreless between both of these teams. In the second half, Rojas would puts it wide from long range before Pico would blast it wide on the volley. As I thought both teams getting some good opportunity early in this one. Andrade then denied Schaffelberg on the volley, but it goes right back to Mukhtar, who only hits it right to Andrade. And then this is where we get to the controversy, and this is where it kind of is a good reason to give feel for all those Liga MX fans and even the league itself to kind of explain about this. I won't be surprised even after this game, the Rayados head coach and even the president will basically use this as an example of clear favoritism toward MLS team and sheer robbery that has happened to Liga MX team in this Leagues Cup because there was no penalty that was given to Monterrey after VAR deemed that McNulton did not foul Medina in the box. And notice I put did not with quotation mark because no, he clearly fouled him. I mean, when you look on the replay, it was pretty clear that McNulton stick his leg out and brought down Medina in the box. I mean, multiple times, even the commentator there, David Hickenbottom even mentioned the fact that should be a penalty, and to our biggest surprise, it wasn't a penalty. Now, when it was said that it wasn't a penalty, I thought it feels like it must be a makeup call. I mean, this feels like it's a makeup call from earlier in this game, and again, this is where we get to the discussion of, well, are you okay with the fact that they decided to make up the call and make it fair? Because again, Nashville probably should have had a goal early in this game, and that in this play, it feels like that they probably should have can see the penalty here, and Monterrey should have got a penalty, but because Monterrey got the benefit of a call earlier, now it seems like things have turned around. In other words, basically, it's the classic phrase: VAR taken or VAR given. VAR taken in this play. So yeah, again, if you look at it that way, I think maybe that's justified. But again, there are going to be some that say, well, that's that's a big game changing moment because if the penalty was given and Rayados would have scored, knows how this game would turn out. I had a feeling probably Nashville wouldn't have win this one if that happened. So yeah, again, it's just for me. I just feel like that it seems like that was a makeup call in terms of what happened in the earlier incident. The Ole chant did ring out in this one. There were definitely a good sizable Rayados crowd, but I will give credit to those Nashville fans. They definitely showed up in this one. It was really loud throughout this game. Really kind of had a cup final feeling at Geodis Park. In the 64th minute, Cortizo puts it high as the shots were 11 to 10 for Rayados through 63 minutes. But then in the 68th minute, Nashville takes the league, and almost a similar time that they got that breakthrough against Club America, and it's Surridge scoring from Mukhtar to make it 1-0 in favor of Nashville. Sam Surridge, doing his short time with Nashville, has already done something that their previous couple of strikers cannot do, which is being a clinical finisher. And this has got to be good news for Nashville because there's been a lot of answer of who exactly is going to be that number 9 that can be that clinical finisher and can take the weight off of Hani Mukhtar. It might be Sam Surridge. I mean, he's been having a great start in his life with Nashville, and it's going to be interesting to see that once he does get back, once Nashville does get back to MLS play, how he's going to do in league plays too. Though in the 69th minute, Cortizo did try to answer, but he puts it high. Cortizo had a really good game in this one, and there was times where he came really close of giving Rayados the equalizer. But I feel like this game is definitely far from over, and I know this because something about Rayados is that this season, even though they're down, you cannot count them out because they have that ability to trying to come back and get a resort. And I feel like Nashville and Gary Smith probably realize that, especially after watching the last game between LAFC and Rayados, and just a reminder that this Rayados team has the ability to come back. The game then become very frantic. Both team was looking for the next goal. It was kind of end to end, which again, normally I say that for the team that's winning, that's not a good thing for them to do because you do not want the game to be open and basically allow your opposition to have a chance to get the equalizer with the way the game was open. But I think it suited Nashville because they are comfortable whenever the game is end to end. Though in the 76th minute, Surridge thought he scored again. Only problem is the flag did not agree with him as the goal was disallowed for offside. It was actually him that was in an offside position. It was Mukhtar, the one that was in an offside position when the cross comes in and he flicked it toward the back post. Cortizo then puts it high from close range before Panico. He denied Cortizo on the volley. I mean, Panico, another really good game in this one, and I know he's probably not going to get a shout for the starting spot because I have a feeling once Joe Willis is back in goal, he's probably going to be back in goal. But that's be good for the backup goalkeeper for Nashville, and maybe getting some calls from other MLS team that maybe need a goalkeeper too, because Elliot Pettico, despite the fact that he's been getting limited minutes for Nashville, he has stepped up every time when he was called upon. But I thought it was all hands on deck, and this is where you start to see your typical Gary Smith Nashville team sitting in that low block, trying to hold on to this fragile nothing lead. Which, for a while, I know in their inaugural season they were very successful doing it. They haven't done it very successful lately, and I just had a feeling that I don't think that's gonna work, especially against this Monterrey team. Pinnacle then denied Funes Mori from close, but then in the 6 minute stoppage time, Fafa Pico calls game. As he scored here to make it 2-0 in favor of Nashville, sending Nashville with that showdown against Inter Miami and Messi in the final. By the way, the "We Want Messi" chant definitely rained out as that goal was scored and at the final whistle. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if this is going to come back to haunt Nashville because we've seen this before in other sports. You know how I think in hockey where the Toronto Maple Leafs said we want Florida and they got absolutely smacked, and then it was similar in baseball too, where you know how Yankees fan a couple of times want there was one series they want the Houston Astros, and then they got destroyed in that one, and the same goes when they said we want Boston and they got destroyed in that series. Yeah, I just have a feeling that anytime when you basically chant, we want to insert the team that you want to face, it's probably not going to end well. So I do fear that this can happen. I mean, so far, I haven't seen it in MLS play. I've seen it in other sports, and maybe in MLS, that's okay. But I don't know. I don't think the sports god does appreciate when you decide to say that chant, and I think it's going to be to be determined whether or not if the sports god or the we want this team kind of chant that it seems like it's a curse in some way because the fans that always say that chant they end up seeing their team losing in a humiliating fashion. I don't know if that's going to come back to haunt Nashville, especially also I'm pretty sure that with the way that Messi's been scoring every single game, yeah, I don't know if that's a play that you really want to try to taunt and hope that you can contain him because again, what we've seen with Messi is just absolutely crazy with what he's done so far in this Leeds Cup. But nevertheless, as I said, Nashville they're moving on into the final as the shots in this one. Monterrey did outshot Nashville 21-13, but this is the story of the game. The shots on goal. Again, how many times we've said before, just because you outshot your opponent, if you don't outshot them in terms of shots on goal, then it's just a telling story that you're not really putting the high percentage shot or you're not creating the high percentage shot, and most of them were low percentage shots. As Monterrey only had 3 shots on goal compared to 7 that Nashville has, 4 shots off target compared to 9 that Rayados had, 9 shots that was blocked compared to 2 that Nashville has, and possession-wise, Rayados did have more of the possession, but that was kind of expected. 62% possession compared to 38% possession that Nashville has in its game. So yeah, again, should be very interesting to see Nashville and Inter Miami play. I believe the game is going to be at this Park, if I'm not mistaken, because I think from the opening game, I think Jake Zivin mentioned the fact that whoever wins the Inter Miami and the Philadelphia Union game, they will either host Rayados, but if Nashville does win, they would have to go on the road to play against Nashville. I might be wrong though. Inter Miami might be hosting in that game. But for now, it should be very interesting. I mean, again, I didn't think that Inter Miami and Nashville was going to be the battle for the final for the Leeds Cup tournament. I mean, I'm pretty sure Inter Miami is a team that I think a lot of people saw it coming, and this is where you get people saying, "Well, this tournament looks rigged," because of the way that it was pretty clear they want Inter Miami and Messi all the way to the final. But you can't say that about Nashville. I mean, again, Nashville, I didn't really give them a lot of chances, especially with the way that they coming into this tournament, they didn't really play very well. But or well, they actually coming into this tournament, they weren't really in a good form. And after that opening game where they lost to Toluca, I thought, yeah, it doesn't seem well. Actually, it wasn't the opening game, but the second game when they lost to Toluca, I didn't think it was going to go well for them. But and in Nashville, I mean, they look. This has been an incredible run that they had, and especially, I think there might be the first team where they look like they were down, they were eliminated after the final whistle to was blown, only for them to resurrect because of that crazy PK show we saw in the game against America, and they end up moving on to the next round. I mean, I'll definitely do a video talk about the journey that both of these team has gone to the Leeds Cup final, and I think it's people will be more interest in terms of Nashville's story to get to the final than Miami's story because of just how crazy of a journey that Nashville has got themselves to be able to get to this stage where they are playing the final, and also not to mention this will with the way that both of these teams face off against each other, we will have a team that will be winning their first trophy in their franchise history in the Leeds Cup final between Nashville and Inter Miami. But like I said, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys smash the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments below what do you think of this video. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.